Hi everyone! So a little bit of a different video for me, but something I am very passionate about. I wanted to give you a few tips that I have picked up about travelling and how you can travel and it not be so expensive. I like to go away as often as I can. I want to see the world, and part of doing that means that I can't always stay at the Ritz, which is fine with me. But I have a few tips that means that you can have the best experience and not spend a fortune. A lot of people, when they ask me how I afford to go away so much, say that they don't think that they could because it's too expensive and they can't afford it. So let me give you a few tips on how I managed to do it. The first tip I have is to research. Now, this is not something that I know comes naturally to everyone. My friend and my boyfriend always say I'm an intensive Googler about everything, but it really pays off. So research where you want to go, research the airports. I will research what airport is the best to go to and how far away it is from the city. I'll often go onto YouTube and I'll type in wherever I want to go, and then I'll type in vlog after it so that I can see other people's experiences there and maybe what airport they went to, if they booked a package deal. Something I don't tend to do anymore is book a package deal. I just think, even though if that's what you like and you just want it all done for you and you don't care about the price, then perfect. But for me, I like to have a little bit more of a personal experience, and I know that booking it all myself gives me total control over where I go and where I stay. So number 2 would be, if you can, go off-peak. So unless you have to worry about school or college, if you try and go off-peak, you will notice a huge difference in the price. For example, I'm going to Malaga City in Spain on Saturday. Today's Monday, I'm going on Saturday, and because I'm going in August, the flights are about £280 each. And when I went before with my friend, we went in February and the flights were £100 each. So it's a big jump in price, and that is the price you pay for going when the schools are off, or when it's Easter or October week. That's the holidays that we have in the UK anyway. So you'll find it's so much more expensive to go at those times, and if you can go out with those times, then you will notice a big difference in the price that you'll pay. The third thing is, I always go to all of the cheap airlines first. I have no qualms flying with them. I fly with British Airways a lot for work, and to be honest, I don't find a big difference between that and flying with the cheaper airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet. It really, unless you're going in first class, it's the same. So Ryanair, I always check Ryanair, I always check EasyJet, and one of my favourite websites, and I have the app on my phone, is Skyscanner. So Skyscanner will check all of the available airlines that are going. You just pop in where you're going and when you're going, and it'll check all of the airlines, as well as checking EasyJet and Ryanair and British Airways. It will also check all of the airlines that you wouldn't necessarily think of, like Norwegian Air and Monarch and KLM. These are the ones for the UK anyway, but it will check all of the ones that you wouldn't maybe think of, and it will give you all of the options. So I love to do that because it's got me a few good deals in the past from places that I wouldn't really think about. To go along with that, make sure you always check other airports around you. So for me, when I'm in Glasgow, my nearest airport is Glasgow International, but we also have Edinburgh and we also have Glasgow Prestwick, so I'll always make sure to check those as well. And when I'm in London, as well as checking London, Gatwick and Heathrow, I'll also check Stansted, because there's a lot of cheaper flights if you just shop around. Don't always think just about the one airport that's closest to you. If you can make it to the other ones, then check them out too and see if there's a cheaper price. Number 4 would be plan ahead. So if you can, decide when and where you want to go, and then you can start looking for places, you can start looking for flights, and as soon as that flight comes down in price and it's at a great price that you want to book it for, then you can go ahead and book it. If you're booking it last minute, then you're restricted by the airline's fluctuations. You might think, God, I have to book this because I'm going soon. So if you plan ahead, then you're more in control and you can get the best deal. Number 5, and the best tip I can give you, and the one I want to talk about the most, is booking an apartment instead of staying in a hotel. So the past sort of 7 or 8 times I've been away, I have booked an apartment instead of staying in a hotel, and it is the number 1 way that you will find cheaper holidays. So I use websites like Airbnb. That's my favourite one. I love it. I have booked through Airbnb so many times and I have never been disappointed. And I also use homeandaway.co.uk. That's a great website. I booked our house when we went to Mauritius. I went with 5 friends and we booked a huge house. So just to give you some examples of the sort of deals you get, Mauritius is really expensive to stay there because everyone goes there for their honeymoon, so all of the hotels are really beautiful but also really expensive. So we were looking at about £300 a night in a hotel. We ended up, for this house, I'll insert a picture here, it was a huge beautiful house and we all had a big double bedroom to ourselves and we had our own pool and it was phenomenal, and we ended up paying about £200 each for almost 3 weeks. So it was such a steal. When I took my boyfriend to Budapest, we stayed in this beautifully decorated apartment. I'll show you it here. And it was right in the centre of Budapest. We couldn't have asked for a better location. And I paid about £19 per night for 2 of us to stay in that apartment. And that's cheaper than a hostel. So you can't really complain at that. When I went to Lisbon, I stayed in an apartment, and I'll pop a picture over here. It was gorgeous. It was smack bang in the centre of Lisbon, and I had a look at the hotel that was just down the road from us, and that hotel was £300 per night, and we paid £300 for the week to stay at that apartment. So such a good steal. I'm going to Malaga on Saturday, as I said, and I've booked an apartment through Airbnb for us to stay at, and I think it works out about £100 each for the 5 days, and that's right in the height of summer. You couldn't get a better deal than that. I'm just never disappointed when I book an apartment. You find some gorgeous places. It doesn't just have to be apartments. I've seen on Airbnb you can stay in a boat, you can stay in a tree house. They've got so many options, but I'm happy to just stick with an apartment or a house. I've just had some amazing experiences. And the other thing about an apartment, the last time we went to Malaga, when we checked in, the person that we rented the apartment from, his sister had came to help us check in, and she gave us loads of tips. You'll often find that whoever hosts you in your apartment will want to give you tips about their city because they love their city, and they want to give you tips where the locals go, and you would never find that if you stayed in a hotel. So I cannot recommend booking an apartment enough. It just means that it's so much cheaper, but apart from that, it also gives you, in my opinion, such a better experience, and I could not go back to booking a package holiday now. You just need to make sure you research it and find out how to get to the airport, from the airport to your apartment. So I hope that helped, or you want any recommendations for somewhere you're going. If I can help you, I would be more than happy to. And let me know if you have ever stayed in an Airbnb, because I want to know about all the good ones. It's sort of a minefield on Airbnb sometimes because there's so much choice. It's like when you go onto Netflix and you don't know what to watch and you sit there for ages just looking through. Airbnb can be a little bit like that. So if you have any tips, then please let me know. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.